So now we got this back pose here, and we're just trying to figure out, okay, I'm not too good at shapes. I don't know what to do. It's confusing. You've seen other people do it and they make it look like it's easy, but it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Let's make a few observations here that might save us a little bit of time. First thing I want to do is take a look at the feet here. Now, the feet themselves, this is straight across, and this is the shoulder, right? And this is straight across. So what are we noticing here? We're noticing that the shoulder and the foot, it's going off at an angle. Let's go ahead and change colors here. Let's do that again to show this is at an angle. So we're going to take the bottom, the foot that is closest to us, and I'm going to hit shift. And so we see it's here, and we're going to take just the top of the shoulder, and then we're going to draw a straight line. Now, this shoulder is right here. The other shoulder is a little bit down. This ankle is here. The other one is just a little bit up. And we can see that if we make a straight line here, it does this, and then it does this. Why? Why is it doing this? It's doing this because, again, perspective. So if we drew this out in a box, the box would have to encapsulate the entire figure, right? So I'll hit shift to make sure that this is straight. And so that's about the angle, and that's about the angle right there. And so what this means is that these two lines right here, the figure itself, it's going off to a vanishing point. That's going off to a vanishing point. And the vanishing point, they're going to intersect with each other somewhere way over there. It's the same thing as if you were drawing a box, right? In perspective. In 2-point perspective, essentially is what this is. This figure is in 2-point perspective. Now, so we know this. So do we have to know a whole bunch of perspective? No. The more perspective you know, the easier it is for you to do complicated scenes, and that will help you in the long run. But let's just take a look at the shapes. Because shapes is kind of our secret weapon here. So what do we do here? Well, let's take a look at this shape. I'm going to go full screen here. So if I did this, that's a triangle. Maybe some of you have seen this before. And if I take this triangle and I could put like this other triangular shape on here. Now I know that from here to here, it's a 3/4 view. So the spine is doing this, right? So that's actually, so it looks like for the male figure, and I can bring this all the way up, and can I do like another one of these little, it's almost a triangle. It is really this shape right here. So what we would do is we would make a cube like this, a little rounded kind of a cube, and from the chin we would bring that up. And this also works for side view, it works for 3/4 view. And what I did was made these organic triangles. So basically it's a triangle, and it's a right-sided triangle. I know some of you guys have seen Ethan Becker's video on it. And that is actually where I got that from. So full props to that. there's also a second way that we're going to do this. And you're going to see how a lot of this stuff fits in together. Because yes, for those of you that have taken Proko's courses, and he's talked about the Robo Bean, and Bern Hogarth talks about the bean. I also talk about the trapezoids. All of that is there to get you to see the figure. But these triangles, what these triangles also do, if I recreated this triangle, right? So we got this triangle, that's the torso. I have this one that's interrupting here. And so this is giving me the direction in which the figure is. And actually we'll put this over at an angle here a little bit. And so we have this straight against what's called curve. But we also have this curve and this other line. And this is a line of action. These are this is kind of the action, default action body, as I call it. And so this right here, there are these little shapes that you will see that you can turn into almost anything. So this can be a back view. This can be the back view of a character. And this is just us setting the figure down, right? That's the back view. And so this little pinch right here. So it's a stretch and a pinch is what this is. So this is the stretch side. And that is the pinch side. And so this can be in the front as well. So this can be the front. So all I gotta do is turn that there. Now, how did I do that so quick? Well, I eyeballed it. And I know that this figure is a little bit elongated too, but I did the exact same thing that I did the first time. Remember that box that I showed you? Divide this in half and divide that in half, and you can get, that's kind of your underwear down there, or the trunks, the underwear, whatever you want to call it. So this figure is a little bit more feminine. The waist is right up here. And if we divide this in half, then all of a sudden this figure looks very feminine. And so we're getting this. So you're gonna see me repeat this stuff over and over again, and hopefully you should get this. Because I'm gonna show you all the stuff that I have learned through different books, different other artists, watching other videos, my own research. So it's gonna be a culmination of everything. And so now we got that little bit of an S curve, and we're just gonna curve round for the gluteus, right? For the gluteus maximus. We will put the legs right here. And what we can do is we can just go straight down from thick to thin. Put that little triangle, and I just made the triangle look like this. I have a habit of doing this little swoopy thing. It's just a stylistic thing. You can make yours flat. So we're going to go thick to thin, then right about here. We're going to go thick to thin again. We're not worried about trying to encapsulate everything. We just want to get that measurement down. We just want to get the measurement down. And so now we can do this. We can break the circle off, right? We can make these into ovals. That's not going to hurt anything. We can use that manga technique for the arms. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of I'm going to call it a recipe here, or some recipes. Because when we start drawing, because after I've explained all this, and the only thing I'm doing is marking off where the joints are bending. And this is some foreshortening here. So this is foreshortening. It's not a lot. So foreshortening is right here. It's also definitely right there. but it is some foreshortening. And so overall, we're using these triangles, and we can use the triangles over and over again because they do work, and they are excellent placeholders. I like the trapezoid a little more. I like the organic trapezoid. It helps me out a lot more. And by the organic trapezoid, I just mean this little shape right here. I can keep repeating this shape pretty much for everything. And I can manipulate the shape. So I can do this. There it is again. There it is again. It's another little organic trapezoid. There it is again. And I can kind of thin it out a little bit. There it is again. Once again. There it is again. So that's why I love this little trapezoid shape. It's everywhere. And it applies everywhere. And so this, I'm not going to worry about on a pose like this, I wouldn't worry about the shoulder. And let me see right here. Probably do that. We can bend this. So, and this arm is a little bit long, so I do know that. So. And I was able just to kind of eyeball this because I'm looking at it like, okay, the top part here is even. So this looks like it's about close to this length. I'm just trying to get them, I'm eyeballing them to get them close to each other. So we're going to look at the front view with the female character, and we're going to try to put some of this stuff together in a much more of a cohesive way. And then we're going to really look at 8 heads tall. And hopefully some of this stuff will come into perspective for you. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I'll see you in the next video.